Everyone, this is a request video for a side-by-side comparison of the original Enchanted Map by Colette Baron-Reid, which was released in 2011, with the new Enchanted Map. I believe this came out last year in 2020. It is a bit of an upgrade to this one. It has, it's borderless, first of all. The stock is a little bit different, cardstock, and then also some of the cards were changed up to make it a little more diverse, which, you know, is a good thing. I don't have any issues with the old one, but it was nice to see an updated version. Now, I did not plan on getting this because I'm perfectly happy with the old one here. However, I did sign up for Colette Baron-Reid's Oracle Palooza at the beginning of August, which is like a 3-day kind of weekend online conference thing that she does, and they send you a copy of this. So I ended up with a copy of this. So I'd been asked to do a side-by-side comparison, so that's what I'm going to do. Box-wise, I mean, it's your typical Hay House box, both of them, you know, your standard, you know, kind of box that they do. Obviously the covers are different. I do like this one better with the blue. I think it makes the compass stand out a little bit more in the key, whereas this one, it kind of blends in. But you know, it's your standard Hay House kind of stuff. Now, to compare the books, the only difference that I see, I mean, besides obviously the covers are different, is the old one has a thumbnail in it of the cards, whereas the new book, which is thinner, does not. It just has the number and the name. The information, though, from what I've been able to see, is the same. So it's really just a little bit of a thinner book without the thumbnails, and that's really the only difference with the books. Now for the backs of the cards, obviously they look different. This one has a border and it has like the compass kind of opening up with this light here, whereas this just has 2 images of the compass. So they're both reversible, which is nice. Again, I do like this image better. I think it makes the compass stand out more than this one. It's also borderless, which I prefer. So I do like it better. Cardstock wise, this is kind of like, it's obviously it's glossy. It's like a glossy laminate that we have here. Card thickness, I feel like this one is ever so slightly thinner. This is only, I think it's like a semi-gloss because it's not totally matte. I actually think that the front side feels more matte than the back, feels a little more glossy. I'm not a huge fan of matte cardstock. I like this because of the semi-gloss. It's not too shiny, but it does have some slip still, which I prefer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these over and I'm just going to do like a flip through, and I'm going to stop on the ones where they're different because the vast majority of them are the same other than the fact that they're borderless. So as you can see here, the old one has this border here and this one's borderless. And I find that, you know, I'm not against borders, but I'm finding more and more that I do really like borderless cards because it really helps the picture to pop. I think that it just stands out so much more than this one over here. They've also changed, here it's kind of like this old scroll, and then here it's like a blue one. This one I think stands out a bit more. I don't mind this one either. This one, the number is like white, and here it's black, and I think here the number stands out a bit more. So I think overall this one has like a little bit more appeal as far as like the picture is bigger, the name stands out, and then also the number stands out a bit better as well. But the image, as you can see, is the same. So like I said, I'm going to flip through, and then when we come to one that's different, we're going to stop. But this way you get an idea of kind of side by side what they look like together. See, these cards are more slippy. They have more gloss to them. The old cards. This one, the coloring, you can see the coloring's a little bit different here. I feel like this is more purpley. This has more of like a yellowy brown type tone to it. This one too, I've noticed that here you can clearly see the moon peeking out, and here it's gone. This one seems to have more of a bluish cast, and this one seems to have more of a greenish cast to it. So there is, some of them have slight variations in the artwork. This one again, I feel like the clouds and the moon are in different places. There's like, and there's a star here that isn't over here. This one's been changed for the Golden Palace. Here, and I'm not exactly sure why this was changed. Like, it's just like it's a different palace or a different temple that you see here. This one, it's like more of a squarish, like you see the corner of the tower, whereas this one, it's more domed, like it's obviously like a different building. So I'm not sure what the thought process was in changing that one up. So here's one of the ones that was changed. So it still shows somebody like leaping, you know, this one they're leaping from the clouds, you know, towards this butterfly. And here this person's leaping off. It looks like it's almost like it's part of their scarf or something. They're leaping forward. And so obviously they've changed, you know, here we have an individual that looks very, very white, I'm thinking. And here we have somebody with a darker skin tone. So I think this was part of like making it like a little bit more diverse. But it's like we've gone through, we're now at card 33, and this is the first time that we've seen that. So, you know, it's kind of like, oh, is this the only one? But we'll see as we flip through. This is another one that's different. Here we have what's obviously like a more like feminine type of hand here for commitment, with this hand over here. We've got all these hearts and things. And here it's like a star with the up and down. And I wonder if it was trying to make it like a little bit more gender neutral. Although this one is like, it could be another feminine hand, like, I don't know. So I wonder if that was the thought process going on in there. I think they're both nice. They don't have an issue with either one. So I'm not really sure like why the change for this one either. This one seems a bit brighter for some reason on this side, and maybe it's just because it's bigger. This one seems like a little more purpley blue, and this is more like blue. So there's another one that's been obviously changed. Here we have our magical map shifter, and he's juggling all these things around him. And here we have this woman, and she is, she's got the compass on here, and then she's holding what appears to be sort of these feather leaf-like things with some sparkly magical dust around her. So I think this was another one where they were trying to be like a little more diverse by putting in like someone, you know, a person of color as opposed to, you know, like a white person. But there's only 2 cards in here where they've changed people up. And I mean, not every card has a person in it, to be fair. But I'm like, why are we doing this with like just 2 cards? I don't know. Like it seems so, I can't help but say it feels a bit tokenish. Like, well, let's put like a couple of like people of color in here. I don't know. To me, I feel like there's nothing wrong with this deck. I appreciate that people are trying to be more diverse, but I feel like this is sort of like a minimal attempt at it, and it's better off to like just make a whole new deck with another theme that is just generally more diverse, rather than just trying to stick 2 new cards into an older deck, if that makes sense. And there we go. So really, there's like not that many changes. I mean, yes, you know, obviously the backs have changed, and the design of the box and the book, but I really only saw like 4 or 5 cards that were really changed. Actually, I think 4 of them that I really noticed to change, other than, you know, like slight coloration differences, or maybe like, you know, a moon was missing or a cloud was bigger or something. There were really only like 4 cards that were changed. And 2 of them, I'm like, I'm not sure why these were changed. Like, they didn't seem to need a change to them. And then 2 of them seemed like a bit, like I said, I hate saying like tokenish, but it did feel like that. Like, oh, let's stick a couple of cards with people of color. And like I said, there is nothing wrong with this deck. And I appreciate that people want to be more diverse, but I think better effort would be spent with decks in the future, as opposed to just trying to stick a couple of new cards in an old deck, if that makes sense. So I do like both of these decks. As for what I prefer, I do prefer this one, because I do like that it's borderless. I think the backings are better. I think that it makes the colors and the pictures pop up more. And I mean, the new cards are fine. Like the new variations that they did are totally fine. But I just think that it was sort of like an unnecessary revision. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think it's good that they did this? Does it feel like a little bit like a bit half-assed to put those 2 new cards in? What are your thoughts about it? I'd be interested to know. Which one do you prefer? Do you have the old one? Do you have the new one? What are your thoughts? I think the same thing happened with her Wisdom of the Oracle deck as well. I have the older version, and I'm pretty sure there's a newer version out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but those are just my thoughts on the decks. They're both good. I use them both, and but I think I do prefer the newer edition as far as like the borderlessness and the titles standing out a bit better. I think it's just like overall quality a little bit better than the old one. All right, thanks so much for watching, and if you want a reading, you can check out my Etsy shop. You can also check out my Patreon. You know, if you're interested in anything going on over there, I always appreciate patron support. Thank you to all my patrons. You guys are the best and awesome, and I will see you guys next time, and as always, peace and love and rock and roll.